I swear they passed us, they doing too much. Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up.
500 weeks, I feel the charts with my pain. 500 mil and I fall back in the six.
Saturday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday, yo. Maybe I'll love you one day, maybe we'll someday. You wanna dance with me? No, I could dance like Michael Jackson. I could get you. Where did these niggas be at when they say they doing all this and all that? When he tell the story, that's not how it went.
Hey, how's your day? It's J-Way, and let's talk about Drake. Drake is one of the most influential artists of the 2010s, and I would say he's the most consistent artist of the 2010s because reflecting on his catalog, he's dropped music almost each and every year, like a project each and every year, and he's still continuing this trend now. And his music, it's always been something fresh and exciting to listen to, but I feel like his music has gotten repetitive. And in this video, I'll be reflecting and looking into his catalog and his discography of his music to really get his artistry and to really understand Drake as an artist, and just what would I want to expect in his newest album, Certified Lover Boy, that's supposed to be dropping very soon in late 2020. So yeah, let's get into the video. Drake entered the music scene with his debut mixtape, Room for Improvement. In this mixtape, Drake is trying to find his sounds. He's playing with R&B, he's playing with crunk. He's trying to establish his sound. In his second mixtape, Comeback Season, that's when Drake starts to develop his R&B sound that's present throughout his whole music. And I like this project a lot more than his debut mixtape because it's a lot more consistent and thorough. And then he truly establishes his sound and improves his rapping skills in his third mixtape, So Far Gone, and that's where we get the, famous Drake sound that's present in throughout his music. So seeing that progression in his mixtape, it was so cool because he sounded so different back then. Like, I feel like he was like, the way he was rapping, it wasn't like singing and melodic. He was like, I don't know, rapping. It's so weird because now when you hear Drake, he incorporates a lot of singing. After Drake dropped his 3 mixtapes, he followed up with his debut album, Thank Me Later, which dropped in 2010. The album is heavily inspired by Kanye's 808s and Heartbreaks. It's very mellow, gloomy, and chill, and it's personally my favorite album from Drake because it's great, consistent, and I just love the sound. It just brings me back to how I first got introduced to Drake. Drake hones in on that R&B sound that he developed from So Far Gone. The themes covered in this album are love, fame, success, and family life. In Fireworks, he discusses how his life has bloomed with his rapid success and seeing his dreams unfold right in front of his eyes. But behind that new success, he also reflects on his struggling relationship with his father that he's had in his childhood and how it's still leading into his adult life. In The Resistance, he talks about how others are envious or jealous of his newfound success because he's much more occupied and not as available because he's now, a popular rapper and his career has blown up. And his status is interpreted as him being a person who's too good or too rich to hang out with his friends. Like he changed up and forgot where he started and who he was from the beginning before he had this career. The Resistance, it's almost like the choice between being underground or being mainstream, because so many times rappers are praised in their underground scene, like they want you to make it, but once you make it to the top, now you're seen as the fake or sellout. But Drake is saying, fuck the resistance, I want to be consistent with my rap career because I want to be one of the greatest and develop my legacy. So with that song, he kind of like picks at what he wants to go for, but it's like, you know what, I want to accomplish my dreams and I'm just gonna go with it, and if you're resisting that, then fuck you. And Light Up follows up from The Resistance by focusing on the downsides of being a rapper. It looks more into just the industry space of being a rapper, like having limited spare time, overworking, and like rumor and gossip being spread around in the industry about you. So he's almost like getting like a guide to what you should be doing in your rap career, because there's a lot of ways where you can kind of fumble it up, and we've seen a lot of rappers where they start out well but they get caught up, whether that's drugs or relationships or just other type of shit. So with Light Up, it's kind of like you should be aware with how you're going into your career, because you can easily fuck it up even though things are going really well right now. His next album, Take Care, goes even further than the debut. The album embodies a much better and diverse production compared to Thank Me Later. In his debut album, it had much more of a consistent sound, sounding more R&B and more dreamy and chill. Rather, on Take Care, like, pulls from different directions. Like, you have your slow songs, but then you have your hype songs. So to me, it was just more, you know, diverse. It had much more into it as far as production compared to Thank Me Later. And it carries a similar subject of love like on his debut album, but more on heartbreak and resentment. And he really showed his capability and talent as a rapper throughout this album. It's just crazy to see, like, all the, you know, classics that he had, like Headlines, The Motto, Crew Love, Practice, Make Me Proud, and Marvin's Room, just all in one album. And just to, you know, hear all these songs, it was just such a moment at that time. And in this album, he embodies that same R&B/pop rap sound that he had from his debut album. And then in general, he just basks in his success, advances in his rap career, and he speaks on his complicated love life. Like, I really enjoyed Take Care because it just brings me back to how Drake was just dominating. He was in his prominence. It was just such a great moment during that time. One interesting song that I heard from Take Care is Buried Alive Interlude, which is rapped by Kendrick Lamar. It's just very interesting to me because it goes back to how just the industry, being involved in the music industry, could just change someone. And like, hearing these lyrics from Kendrick, it was just a little eerie. So this is Kendrick rapping on Buried Alive. So dig a shovel full of money, full of power, full of pussy, full of fame, and bury yourself alive, then I died. Like, it's just so creepy because it's like, that's how the industry is. Like, these people come in, they get famous, they get rich, and, you know, they change. And it doesn't have to always be something fucked up that they did, something like insane and horrible. It could also be like just spiritual, emotional, something that was just essential to them that they lost as they got into this industry. And it's something that artists talk about a lot, but it's just, I don't know, hearing that, it was just so eerie because we see a lot of people who lose themselves in this industry, and, you know, it's a battle. This industry, you just gotta be careful because some people make it out and they're okay, but others, they really end up just left and dried. It's just, those lyrics just describe, like, to me, selling your soul and just, you know, accepting the price of fame. His third album, Nothing Was the Same, was more hip-hop and had less singing compared to his first two albums. The third album has best of the both worlds. Like, it has the overall sound of Thank Me Later being R&B and chill, but it also has that versatility on Take Care. So it has like the best in both worlds of his first two albums, which I thought was so cool. And I really consider this his strongest album because it's consistent, because it's cohesive in production and its rapping skills. I really enjoyed all the tracks on the album. It was really good. The name of the album relates to how his career reached a new plateau after the success of his first two albums and being solidified as the leading rappers of the 2010s along with J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, the big three. Hence, Nothing Was the Same. Drake sets the tone for the album with his best intro, Tuscan Leather, describing how nothing was the same since he made waves in the game, and from Time he speaks on repairing his relationship with his father and mainly on rekindling with his past girlfriend/lover. On Connect, he talks about reconnecting with his partner around the city and just vibing with each other. And then on Too Much, he touches on the underground days and rapping in Houston and reflecting on the disappointment of his starting relationship with his father, which is something around this time he was working on, but in his past music, you know, they're very distant and they weren't close. So I thought this album was very interesting how he touched on aspects of his personal life with his father. Drake's fourth album, Views, is where he declines in his music. From that point forward, to me, just became repetitive, and this is his most lacking album because it was too long, inconsistent, and the artistic direction just seems so lost/confusing. The singles for the album, Hotline Bling, One Dance Controller, and Too Good, it made it seem like the album was gonna be Caribbean inspired and probably have more of a pop sound compared to his third album. But while listening to the album, the singles didn't really fit in. The album overall, it kind of carries the same style and vibe from Nothing Was the Same, sounding more R&B. And the singles, the way they were placed in, it just did not belong. It felt like it would fit perfectly more on More Life, and it just seemed so misplaced. So I think Drake was going to create like a sequel to Nothing Was the Same, but have it oriented on, you know, Toronto and just the culture over there, and, you know, basically giving a spotlight to where he's from. But I don't think he wanted to produce the same thing and have like another sequel in a way. But then I also think he wanted to probably make a Caribbean inspired record. But then again, he did face criticism for mimicking Jamaicans and using patois in his song Controller. So maybe he didn't want to do that. So that's why he made More Life a mixtape and had other people involved from that culture. So he didn't, like, you know, culturally appropriate. It just seemed like he didn't know how he wanted this album to be. And the way the album was structured, it just did not mesh well at all. And like that progression from his first 3 albums with his complicated love life, it kind of got redundant on this project. Like, it kind of felt like the same thing he was talking about on the other 3. It just did not evolve or progress from his other projects. It just felt like the same thing was regurgitated back. I want to explain more on the part where I feel like his music declined after Views, with the song Fake Love. When I heard Fake Love on the radio a lot, it was something that was disappointing to me because, for one, it was overly auto-tuned, and for two, I just felt like it just wasn't a great song overall, and I think he could have done much better. And like at that point, I just had like a certain thought of Drake where I'm just like, man, I know he can release better music, but he keeps releasing like these same songs. And these songs that I feel like these are like hit songs or songs that, you know, it's gonna chart really high. He made a lot of music where I'm gonna make sure it charts high. You know, instead of, you know, making songs I feel like you would fuck with, or something that you would, you know, add to your playlist, something that, you know, you'd have a moment with, it was something that, what can we put out right now that hit the top of the charts? And that to me was just so disappointing, because I feel like the level he's at in his career, even at that point, he didn't even have to do that because he was already solidified. I feel like you're at the point where you put out the best music and not necessarily, you know, what will be top 40 or chart hitting music. And I feel like that's something that Drake keeps on doing. And I wish he could get out of that. His 5th album, Scorpion, was the biggest moment in his career. 2018 was literally the year of Drake. He ruled the charts and radio with God's Plan, In My Feelings, Nice for What, and Nonstop. It's a huge step up from Views. I enjoyed this album much more. In Scorpion, Drake talks about his baby mama fleeing, his child, and his complicated love life. And even though I like this album much more than Views, it also was too long. Like, I really enjoyed the first half. The second half I felt was just unnecessary. Not like there was bad songs on there, but it was like, what was the point? Had he just ended it off with the first half, I would have said it would have been a solid album. Nonetheless, I did enjoy that album. In conclusion, it was very enjoyable and interesting to listen to Drake's discography. Drake has shown his artistic growth from Thank Me Later to If You're Reading This Then It's Too Late, which is a great mixtape, and Energy still goes hard to this day. I got energy, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of this energy, trying to take away from a nigga. Fucking with the kid, I'll play with the trigger. Bitch, I don't know what the hell he was on when he dropped that mixtape, but that I would like that type of energy back. That was just a moment. I really enjoyed that mixtape. But then on Views, that's where he got repetitive and lazy, and he improved on Scorpion. But even with his latest release, I feel like Drake is back on doing the same old with him being repetitive. Like, I was just unimpressed with the Scorpion rejects. It was average, it wasn't bad to listen to, but I didn't care for that project. For instance, even the way he promoted Tootsie Slide, I feel like Drake is always searching for a hit, and I feel like he doesn't have to, like, because he is Drake, he's going to get that hit. He intentionally leaked this song so he could start a dance challenge on TikTok, which I thought was so unnecessary to go to that much lengths to push the song. Like, it's just tacky. It's just like how Justin Bieber, how he went so hard for that song Yummy, which is just such a basic song, and for him to come back like that, it's the same way. Like, you don't have to do all of that. It will be, a hit regardless, because you're Drake, you're Justin Bieber. That's how I felt about him releasing Tootsie Slide for the single off of Darkling demo tape. And then the same thing applies with his songs that he did with DJ Khaled, Grease, and Popstar. Just mediocre ass shit. It's like, basically, he could just put out stuff, and because he knows it's gonna do well, he just puts it out. And I'm just tired of that whole mentality, because I feel like that could fuck up artists at the end. Like, artists really need to they gotta keep that hunger alive, because you don't want to just keep putting out mediocre shit, and because it's hitting and everybody's loving it, you're just putting it out. But then when people catch up, and then when other people passes you, as long as the quality of music, people are gonna stray away. Now, I do like his latest song, Laugh Now, Cry Later, with Lil Durk. It's a little step in the right direction, and it's cool that he shared some spotlight with Lil Durk, who has been grinding for years, and this could be his big break, and he got his big moment. So in his upcoming project, Certified Lover Boy, I'm hoping to get some new content, but based on the title, might be focused on his complicated ass love life with a Canadian telenovela flair. Oh my god, let me shut up. But I am hoping that, I could get to know Drake as the person and not the persona on his new project. I've always been presented with the persona, which hasn't been bad, but I feel like the point that he is in his career, I would like to get to know Drake as a person. Drake placed the whole spotlight on Toronto and in general Canada with his rap career, influencing Canadian artists such as Tory Lanez and The Weeknd, and even influencing the current sound of hip-hop with melodic rapping being more dominant compared to like hardcore rapping. Overall, with his new project, I'm just hoping for some new content, and I just don't want Drake to be redundant, and I also want him to have that same hunger that he had in his mixtape days, because when an artist is hungry, that's when they're putting out their best, they're doing their best. As the title references, Drake, Take a Damn Break, I state that because I feel like as an artist, as a rapper, you need to take a break. You need new inspiration. You need new stuff to talk about in your music. You need new content to talk about in your music. And it's dope that he's taking that same imprint from Lil Wayne. He's dropping year after year after year. But I feel like he's burned out because he's been doing, yearly releases, almost yearly releases in the 2010s and even now. Drake, let's say, were to take a 4-year hiatus just to, grab some new content, that would be dope. Because I always think about Queen and how Nicki Minaj came back with Queen. That was such an exciting moment. You come back 4 years and you just have everyone talking. And it's like, Drake, he's always going to get that attention. But I'm thinking just content-wise, what would be dope and what would people love to see? And I feel like even 2-3 years, that would still be good to take that time off and to just enjoy your personal life so you can come up with better music, and it's not redundant, it's not tiring, it's not expected. That's what I expect from Drake. Expecting much more and better, not the same old. That concludes all my thoughts on Drake. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, comment your thoughts on Drake. How do you feel about his music lately? Are you excited for his upcoming project, Certified Lover Boy? Also, sorry for taking a very long break. It's been almost a month since my last video. School is my main priority, so I will try to do a weekly upload or an every other weekly upload. Sorry for the wait. I should have, been a little more consistent. Sorry about that. But thank you for watching. Until next time. Toodaloo!